You have House of Light, right, that you opened up last August.
Yeah.
It's a studio where anybody can come and take pictures.
Yeah.
We've been there. We've photographed there. It's flawless.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's insane. Send Deposit is your luxury streetwear for entrepreneurs and hustlers, right? Like it's sick clothing.
Yeah.
And you have your whole media. It's a lot.
And I found myself in a position where my train came off the tracks. And, you know, I was like, okay, well, what do I do now?
You went through the back door.
Yeah, exactly. It's Trojan horse.
That's amazing.
Trojan horse. Full send was 2013 when FedEx fired my ass. You're taxing yourself. You're putting too much on yourself to where you're distracted and you're not going to allow yourself the time to actually weed out like who you are or what you truly want to do.
I'm Meg Carlisle, and this is How We Do. Today's podcast guest, you guys, just filmed T-Pain, whom I'm a huge fan of, and the footage is so fire. You guys have to check it out. But here's the thing. That moment, as epic as it is, isn't the reason I wanted Tay Price on the podcast. Because what's even more powerful than watching him film icons is watching him be super honest, watching him rebuild himself, and watching him show up on social media in such an authentic way lately. And it's so deep and it's so much more impressive than clean edits and awesome lighting. Tay is insanely talented. He's a videographer and a photographer in Las Vegas, and he's the founder of Send Deposit, a luxury streetwear brand. It's awesome aesthetic. His work has helped define the visual voice of brands across industries. But behind the success, behind that cool factor and that client list is a story that's more important. This episode is about the stuff we don't see. The burnout, the moments he thought about walking away from it all, the pressure to keep performing when his heart wasn't in it anymore. Tay's been letting people into that story recently, and it's exactly why I wanted to have him on this podcast. So this one's for the creatives, the dreamers, the ones who are in it. If you've ever lost your spark, questioned your path, or had to start over, this one's for you. Tay Price, thank you so much for being here today. I'm super, super, super excited to have you on set.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Okay, so I have been dying to talk to you about one thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
I don't.
It's the auto-tune legend.
T-Pain.
The one, the only T-Pain.
T-Pain.
I have been dying. You posted that you photographed him recently.
Yeah.
And I want to know all the details. I want to know everything.
It was actually a really simple shoot. He's easy to work with. He's super grounded.
Yeah.
So like he came in, no crazy entourage or anything.
Nothing, just him?
It was him. I think he had two people with him. And it was such a short session because we had to split the session between photo and video. Mm-hmm. So the video portion took a little bit longer because they had to crank out more deliverables for it. And mine was kind of just static images for flyers.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was shooting him for probably like a cool 30 minutes, but he was cool. He was
cool guy.
Yeah, cooler than the other side of the pillow.
How did you get connected with him?
That was actually so for a few months, I was on the marketing team at Resorts World.
Cool.
And pretty much all those opportunities slid through, I was right place, right time.
Dude.
So the talent that they had coming through, I was the one that was shooting everything for them. So
T-Pain.
Yeah.
So cool, dude.
Yeah, super cool.
Stud.
Super cool, yeah.
Okay, we'll get back into that and like where you're at and all that. But I want to dive back first to you at an early age. Mm. You are an insanely just talented videographer, photographer. I mean, everything about you just oozes confidence now. Mm. When you were younger, were you always creative? Were you always confident? Like, talk to me about who young Tay was.
Young Tay. Tay P.
Yeah.
What they called me in high school.
Tay P.
Tay P is what they called me in high school.
Listen, T-Pain, Tay P.
Right. It's close. It's close. I was always creative. I would probably say it started with like drawing. Mm-hmm. That was like my thing when I was younger. And I got into music around sophomore year, maybe 15, 16, which I would probably say was like the catalyst to everything. Like,
really?
Even though it's transitioned into what it is now, I think that kind of just opened the gateway of like just tapping into my imagination and being able to, materialize what was going on internally. So yeah, it was like production for the longest time. I was the first guy with like an in-home studio back in like high school, 2001, 2002.
Yes.
So people were coming over to record. And all of that kind of came along with like a streak of like entrepreneurship. Cause of course I'm charging for like studio time,
right,
charging for beats and stuff like that.
Right.
And that's kind of where it started. And then it kind of just evolved as I grew, the creativity started to just leak differently.
Yeah.
And, come out differently.
So tell me about the early days. Like no entrepreneur, no creative starts out killing it, right? Tell me about like the like free stuff, taking stuff from your DMs. Like how did that start? Because people in the position where they're at, like trying to grow, what did that look like for you?
It actually felt like a kind of seamless process because I was in video, started video like 2010. And I think Instagram was like 2011, 2012.
Yep.
And so I got into that like right into the growth phase of that. And 2013, I got into photography. And so it was just like I'm seeing these models and seeing other photographers and what they're doing. So I just started reaching out to the models that were shooting with them and just to build my resume. And I just kind of understood the aspect of like I need to build my portfolio in order to shop myself to anybody to show people what I'm capable of doing. So it was years of just doing free shoots, like which actually yielded all the paid work at the same time.
Totally.
Until it got to a point where I didn't really need the free stuff, and it's like now I can pick and choose what I want to do when I want to do it for the sake of like creativity or passion projects. But yeah, it was definitely like a little bit of work as far as like just picking people and hitting them. But it was in such like an early phase of Instagram where people were more likely to say yes than they were to say no. Yeah. So like if your work looked good, they were like, yeah, I'm down to shoot. Like when's the next time you'll be in Vegas?
Right.
When's the next time you'll be in LA? And, just picked up with people, networked with people and got in with them.
So nowadays the like generation that's kind of coming up right now into the workforce, like we work with a lot of them, and their networking skills, it's kind of something that's died off a little bit, right? Back in the day, it was something you had to do. You had to show up, you had to network, you had to rep yourself, right? You had to be like, this is what I do, who I am, you should work with me. Nowadays, everything's done through social media and through Instagram. And so they're less of a voice, more of a, behind the scenes picture kind of a thing. What kind of advice would you have for people just starting out in video, photography, anything in the creative field? How do they get started to become the Tay Price?
I would say be intentional with structuring your portfolio to land you in front of the people that you want to be in front of.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who that is, then you kind of got to like shotgun the whole situation and just do a little bit of everything, see what resonates with you, see what you're passionate about, see what you care about. But yeah, like dig in, and you're going to have to do some of those free projects. You're going to have to reach out to people and be willing to do those shoots for free, but just knowing that if there's a bigger chess play, that you're using that content, that material to shop yourself to other clients in a similar market.
Yeah.
That's always been my approach, is like, I still do it to this day. Like if I see there's a bigger move that I can make, a bigger trajectory, I'll pick up this shoot here specifically so I can go shop my resume to a hotel.
Yeah.
Which is, that's kind of what I did with Resorts World. I didn't need to go on board with their team. Like they offered me a great salary, a great position to do it, but I was just looking at a longer shot. It was, okay, if I do this now, I learn their infrastructure, learn how they go about doing things, how they're managing their things, how many people are incorporated in these types of shoots, which is outside of what I generally do. So, I pushed myself into the market, learned what I could from them, and now I have a full resume that will allow me to shop myself to any other like marketing director within Las Vegas that's sitting in the middle of a hotel.
You went through the back door.
Yeah, exactly. It's Trojan horse.
That's amazing.
Trojan horse.
I love that you said you still do things for free and like you really are strategic about it. So anytime I coach like hairstylists and how to get started, I also recommend doing this and being very strategic with who you offer your free work for and have that be your portfolio exactly with what you're saying. And I think it is an insanely good way to get the pictures you need, to get the, you know, the whole image of what you're trying to get or portray. And sometimes people don't want to do stuff for free.
No, everybody thinks they're above the free shit.
Right. But it's not like,
No.
it ain't like that.
No, it's you use it to your benefit.
Yes.
If there's no benefit, then absolutely like don't do it. But
Right.
if you can find a way to benefit from it, then absolutely. Like, what do you have to lose?
Yeah. It's a bigger picture.
Exactly.
Plan 10 steps ahead, like a chess
It's
piece.
chess.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay. So early Tay was creative. He started like doing producing. You got into like, what was your first like camera? Did you have like a cheap one first? Did you have to buy like an expensive one? Did you have to save up for it?
So it's funny. So how I got into it was I had a MacBook. And we're talking about 09.
Yeah.
They just started putting the cameras on the front of them.
Yep.
And so we're also talking about like the early years of YouTube. So one of the guys that I produced for, I was just like, bro, let's shoot the verses that you're doing like on the songs. Like, let's just put these videos on YouTube.
Sick.
And so we were recording those, putting them in iMovie, and I'm putting words on the screen, and I'm thinking like I'm the guy now because I know I got these little generic transitions on the screen. And he's like, hey, my pops has a guy that has cameras, and he has an extra camera, which at the time was a Canon GL2.
Okay.
So it was a decent camera, but I mean, we're talking about 2010. So we're talking about film. Like, you have to plug the camera to the computer and press play on the camera, and you know, to log the footage in.
Well, 2009 was not that long ago. That's wild.
But it wasn't. But it was.
Yes, technology wise.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was like my first camera in, and then a matter of months later, the same guy, we were still shooting music videos, and I was just like, yeah, this other person, one of the other people I was working with in the city, they had an extra camera they were trying to sell, which was a Canon Rebel, I think a T1 Rebel.
Cool.
Which like a $600 camera. It wasn't crazy, but it's like we're talking about entry-level DSLRs. And so we went half on that, 300 each, got that, and that was just like
that was it.
From that, yeah, because the video that we shot, we got that specifically to shoot a video that was going on World Star.
Wow.
It was like early years. So that video hit World Star. Nobody had did anything like that in Vegas. And it did like 250,000 views. And this is like at the time when mainstream artists are doing 1 million views. So it's like 250,000 views in comparison was a big deal.
Great.
And nobody had did it. And, you know, it went off the charts, and it gave me a huge buzz. And once I got the flame, I just never put
looked
it down.
back.
No.
So it's unconventional, right? This like path. Did you plan on doing an unconventional? I think it's more common now, but back then it was like you go to college, you do this, you get a job, you sit behind a desk. Was that always in the path, or did you just have things fall into place and you're like, yeah? It
kind of, things have always fell into place for me. I don't know why.
I don't know. You follow the signs.
Yeah, I'm just like, I just kind of pay attention to opportunities. I'm good at sniffing them out, and I just lean into them when I see them. But no, I was at FedEx as soon as I graduated high school in June. I was at FedEx July, and so I was there. And in my mind, I wanted to work up the tier system there, team leader, manager, and all of that. So I was applying for those positions, failed, transferred out to California. I was going to go to barber school.
Sick.
I tried to get into barber school, and the classes were always full every time I tried to get into it. And I was just like, all right, well, then I'm just going to transfer back to Vegas because all my friends were here. I was 21. I was like, I'm missing out on all my stuff. Like, I'm
21 in Vegas.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's a fun time.
I turned 21 and moved away, and I was just like, why? Well, we had literally just started going to clubs and stuff like that, and like all my guys from school. And so like I moved away because I wanted to be around my brother. Just had my niece at the time. I wanted to be around that.
Yeah.
And so I moved out there, and I was just like, after like a year, I was like, I can't do it. Mind you, we're in like Paris, California, which is like rural. There's nothing out there.
Right.
But yeah, so we transferred back, and everything from that point just kind of fell into place. Yeah.
Yeah, you dug in.
Like, yeah, I just literally came back, and that's when I started shooting the stuff with the MacBook. And then once I caught traction with any of it, I was just like, grab onto it, don't let go.
Was that the point where you feel like it was like, it kind of just was like, I'm not turning back. This is it. I'm going full send. Was the video with the MacBook? Full
send was 2013 when FedEx fired my ass.
Oh, yes.
I had to get fired. I was already making great money from just shooting like video stuff.
Okay.
So like 2010 to 2013 was like solely video.
Okay.
FedEx fires me 2013, and for whatever reason in my mind, it was like, well, you're already doing this, just figure out a way to increase it. And so I just went harder with it. And then it was photography. I did some behind the scenes for a photographer, and I kind of just peeped what he had. I was just looking at his setup, looking at his equipment, looking at what he had, his camera, what he had triggering the lights. And I just made mental note. And that same night I went home, and I think I spent like $1,500 on it. And that was kind of like putting my back against the walls. Like, you spent the money. Exactly. Like, you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
And it all came in, and sure enough, like, I just started doing photos, and I kind of just created two identities for myself, because everybody knew me for video. So then when I tapped into photo, it was like I had a whole different audience that was like catered specifically to that. And at times, like, there's people that don't know that I do both.
Really?
Yeah, there's plenty of people that solely know me for photography and not for videography.
Are they different looks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You got this like duality going on.
Yeah. And so it was just like, kind of doing both, because like mainly the video stuff was like music video stuff.
Okay.
So everybody knew that. And then the photography started doing its own thing. It started vining up the wall and taking me in all types of different directions, which is probably taking me further than the videos did, but it's like, I'll take all of it one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So they fire you. What'd you get fired for?
I called in on a Saturday.
What?
And the Saturday manager didn't want to give me the day off, but I'm just like, I have sick days.
Yeah.
You can't tell me when I can and can't use them, regardless of how much of an inconvenience it is to you.
And you're in your early 20s.
Yeah, like I'm not coming in today. And so on Monday, my manager calls me in, and he was just like, yeah, you could fight it, And I was just like, it's cool. Like, here's my badge. I'm good. I'll figure it out.
Honestly, I think sometimes things happen like that for a reason.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, in your life, and anybody who's listening right now who's like had something like that, it like is a hit to your ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
It like hurts the pride, but honestly is a blessing in the long run, and it like clips your wings to let you fly in a regard, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if you were to have worked up in FedEx, would you have ever betted on yourself like you did?
No.
No.
I didn't. And that was the thing, is instantly when it happened, I was just like, cool. Because I didn't have the guts to quit, because I was so used to
the stability,
the security, and the stability from like getting a paycheck every week. And I wasn't doing shit for it anyways.
Right.
Like,
right.
It was an easy job. So it was just like, whatever. But like I had that security, like fresh out of high school. And that's what we're kind of, it's ingrained in us to get a job, work up the system, like get to the, manager, whatever, regional, work your way up the system. It's like, you're just really just funding somebody else's dream at that point.
Right.
And they're probably 40x in the money that you're making them, like,
at least.
And that I knew, that part I knew. So it was like when they did that, I was like, cool, I'll figure it out, because that was how I got into the video stuff in the first place. Like, I came back out here with no plan. So I was just like, no plan, no family. I didn't want to have the crutch that I had back there, because in California I had my entire family. Mm-hmm. And so I knew, like, if shit ever hits the fan, I'm all right. You know, I'll be good. So when I moved out here, it kind of like I threw myself into the fire. And so I kind of already knew like what type of person I was by doing that. And so when I got fired, I was just like, this is one of those situations again, like, let's see what you're made of. Like, and that's kind of how I took it. So it was definitely a blessing in disguise. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we go through these things as entrepreneurs where it's like a fork in the road. It's almost like the universe tests you. Like, are you really going to bet on yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, here's your chance. This is hard, but you get to choose your hard, and instead of like choosing the hard that's going back and finding another job with FedEx, right? That's hard.
Right.
You chose a hard to bet on yourself.
Exactly.
They're both hard.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about where you're at now. I've worked with you personally. You are phenomenal. Unlike anybody else I've worked with. You're just, your eye and your like just detail on the art behind it is so amazing. Tell us about your businesses, plural, and where you're at now.
Currently running the media company. So everything that I do, photo, video, just opened a studio in August. I have a clothing line that has been going for about 2 years now.
Give us all the names. We got Send Deposit.
So Send Deposit is the clothing line. House of Light is the studio. And then just within myself, within the photography stuff, it's like a small ecosystem of like digital products, ebooks, presets, the YouTube, like got that monetized. So just a few different avenues kind of within the realm of the arts.
Are you where you want to be right now?
Right now, yes.
You're where you want to be.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
Okay, I want to back up for a minute. So when I met you like 3-ish years ago, full send. You still, I mean, the last 3 years I've watched you so busy. So just absolutely killing it, killing yourself, literally, right? Take me back. Like, what have the last kind of, has it been 3 years? 3 years looked like for you? Has it been longer than that?
No, we would be talking what 2021, 2022-ish.
Yeah.
How has it looked?
You have House of Light, right, that you opened up last August.
Yeah.
It's a studio where anybody can come and take pictures.
Yeah.
We've been there. We've photographed there. It's flawless.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's insane. Send Deposit is your luxury streetwear for entrepreneurs and hustlers, right? Like it's sick clothing.
Yeah.
And you have your whole media. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's from the outside perspective, you know, I think people see it one way versus like how you see it and how you structure it. Like for me, some of it is, well, most of it are things that I seen myself doing. So it doesn't come as a huge surprise, which was kind of like a twofold thing, right? Because when I opened the studio, I had been attempting for 6 years to open it, but didn't have like the proper guidance to know how to go about it. So it was like every attempt, I learned something new about the credentials, the paper trails, whatever it is that I had to have in play, how much it was actually going to cost, like how much overhead I was going to have to cover, how much startup costs I needed. Like these are things that I was learning like on my way there. And so years, and then I finally get the studio open, and there was one guy that specifically asked me when we had the grand opening, and he was like, "How do you feel?" And my answer was fucking stressed.
Right.
It wasn't like and I was like, of course I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm not one to like put on like a mask and make it seem like it's something it's not.
Yeah.
I could tell it wasn't the answer he was expecting, because it's like he was a photographer too. He's like, yeah, you opened your own studio. And had it been me, I would have expected a different answer too. But it was like, I'm stressed. Like we opened this place, we renovated it in like 3 weeks. Mind you, the stress from the years of getting it to where it was at.
And failed attempts. I love that you said that. 6 years of failed attempts.
Yeah,
like you didn't give up.
No, because I mean, for me, my thing, for anything that I try to do, it's never a if, it's just when. So if something doesn't work out now, it's just a matter of time when it will. It's
taking
not
that
if.
lesson, right, that you learned, and
100%.
Not a fail, you learn, you move on.
You move on from it, you take what you need from it, and like, okay, what could I have done differently? But in the moment of opening the studio, I didn't feel
this elation of
pride. I didn't feel like like, of course it's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel that happiness that you would think would come along with it. And, you know, in that moment, I've kind of distinguished like, yeah, materials and all of that, like they're cool, but there's no fulfillment in any of it, you know? And so it's kind of changed my trajectory a lot of bit. I'm not going to lie. I've probably changed it a lot of bit with like the things that I want to do. So that's why when you ask if I'm happy with where I'm at right now, I'm just like, yeah.
But back then, it's funny that you mentioned August, because I started making note of watching you on social media, and I noticed like a slight shift with you in August last year, and you started being a little bit more open and vulnerable and a little bit more raw with just kind of your day-to-day feelings of being an entrepreneur and being a creator. And take me to like that headspace.
So that headspace is going through a breakup.
Like a hard breakup.
Well, so no. It's kind of twofold. So I had a longer relationship. I came out of that. And it didn't hit me the way I expected it to. Found myself in another relationship, probably too soon, but that's where I was at, and then came out of that. And that one,
that's what triggered it.
That was the catalyst. Yeah. And that kind of sent me in a whole different direction. And
talk to me about like your work-life balance, your personal balance, like living in this space of having to build a company and also give space for you to like learn and grow and be present with who you are and who you're growing into. Never before.
I never did it. That was the problem. And that's what I realized afterwards was I have a horrible case of tunnel syndrome, you know.
Every entrepreneur does.
Exactly. And I always laid into that. That's just survival mode, you know, like it's kind of ingrained in me just from my upbringing, from my childhood. And that's what I saw my mom busting her ass, working 2-3 jobs at a time, trying to take care of me and my brother. So it's kind of just like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to work
grind.
Hard. Yeah, you're supposed to get to it all the time. Like you don't have time to, like, I don't care how much money is over here set aside. Like it's not enough because shit could hit the fan. And if it does, you're all you got. That was always my mentality.
It's like a trauma response.
Exactly. And so it was just gunning ahead always, until shit did hit the fan, not in a financial way, but in a personal way. Emotionally. And I was in no way, shape, or form ready to handle it. And I realized that there's like a whole nother side of me that I never sat with. I lived an entire life on autopilot, if you will, of just focused on, I'm doing this. This is my goal right here. Like you're either jumping on this train, moving full speed ahead, or you're not. Yeah. Which, you know, smashed through a lot of situations, lost a lot of relationships from it, but it was just like
what you knew.
That's where I was at. Is like, this is the speed that I move. Either you're with me or you're not.
Get on the train or get off.
No love lost. Like, but this is the direction I'm going. Either you're coming or you're not. Like, and you know, and I found myself in a position where my train came off the tracks, and you know, I was like, okay, well, what do I do now? You know.
So what did you do? Because giving yourself space to feel after you haven't felt, you know, allowed your space to emotionally like explore how you're feeling and what you're doing for your whole life, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a whole lot at one time.
Yeah. I mean.
So how did that look and unfold? Was it a daily thing that you started doing and checking in with yourself? How'd you learn?
So it was just daily. And then that's kind of where some of that, where majority of that content came from, because while I was sitting there, I'm sitting by myself, which I hadn't been for years, ever. You know, I was in a 10-year relationship. Prior to that, I'm in relationships, situationships, all. So I never really just sat with myself and just been alone. And so the more alone that I got, the more I had to like sit there and deal with the thoughts and the things that were coming up, and just looking for any type of guidance. I was unable to really find what I felt like I needed. And so within doing that, I kind of just started expressing what I was feeling. And that's where all that other content came from, was just me kind of narrating what I was going through in real time and just expressing it. And, you know, I was able to kind of blend together from what I do, because I use cameras and stuff. So I was like, okay, I can be creative with it at least. And, you know, just tell my story, tell my parts of it, and maybe it'll be a bit of a beacon for somebody else to look at that can't find where to start. Because it's like I would just come across a lot of stuff, do the work. I'm like, what the fuck is the work?
What's the work?
What is the work?
And how do I do it?
Everybody refers to it as the work, and I'm just like, I need somebody to break it down to me different, because whatever you're saying is like going over my head. Yeah. And it was like, even within people just saying like the work is like journaling. Okay, what do I journal? Like, what do I say? Like, how does this conversation go within myself? Meditating, what do I do with meditating? Like, where am I supposed to go in my head? Like, what do I do? Do I just sit here and, you know, like stare? Like, how does that look? And so that's why I just started producing content that kind of reflected that. And, you know, within it is just still, which I'm still growing from, but I just realized how one-dimensional I had made myself over the years, because there's so much more about me, but people only know me for photos and videos. That's it.
Your work.
Yeah, they just know me for my work. They don't actually know me. And not that I need to be validated by a bunch of strangers, But, back to the other side of things of showing people, one, it's okay to be real and be who you are. I've always led with my truth. I've always showed up to be who I am. Just, I feel like authenticity and vulnerability are probably the universal keys that'll open any door for you.
I agree.
Whenever you show up in a room and you're authentically who you are, it's going to connect. It's going to resonate. And it doesn't matter if somebody is up here, like if you put somebody on that pedestal and some high earning person and you come in that room being who you are, they're going to recognize that. They're probably that person or,
right.
At some point in time. And I think a lot of people try to lead things with putting a mask on and fake it till you make it. Mm-hmm. And it's like anybody that's made it over here, anybody that's made it past where you're at can sniff that shit out.
Yeah.
So it's like, show up as who you are, lead with your truth. And it's like, why would you be ashamed of what you've been through? It's made you exactly who you are and who you need to be, right. for your current day. So it's always just lead with your truth, be authentically yourself, lead with vulnerability.
Yeah.
And this day and age, people don't show any of that.
Right.
Everybody on social media, they put on their mask, they show their perfect moments, they go on their vacations, they jump on jet skis, jump on yachts, jump on boats, they film on the shit all day and stack their archives full and then post for months
right.
and make it look like this is all that I do. This is my life.
Right.
It's like, no, everybody is dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with or has dealt with it or is going to deal with it
right.
at some point in time. But nobody talks about it. Mm-hmm. Everybody just keeps it to themselves. It's like even the gurus that talk about doing the work aren't showing the actual process of what it is they're going through. They're right. just kind of telling you this is how you should deal with it, And it's almost like doctors in medicine. They don't give you the actual root to the problem. They're just putting a Band-Aid on it, just throw medication at it. Like,
yeah,
that's not real to me.
So this is a completely new phase of life for you.
100%.
You're learning yes, I have this immense capacity to work, right? And then you also have this deeply emotional, spiritual side to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who you are as a human, who your soul is.
Mm-hmm.
What are some practices that have helped you figure that out for anybody going through it right now that's they're having a tough time, right? And they know they need to do the work. Right. What are some practices that have helped you dive into who you are as a human? Not what you do, but who
right.
you are.
I would say the top of the list. Actually, I don't know one that's better than the other, but I would say journaling, but the way that I do it is through voice memos on my phone.
I like that.
So I just started, recording because me trying to write it was a slower process to where my thoughts were beating my pen and I couldn't keep up. But I do know that there's big benefits for actually writing it, handwriting, because it slows you down to have to write it. But it was just for the sake of me getting what I needed to get out. I would just do voice memos and record.
Is this daily? Is this
daily?
Okay.
Sometimes multiple.
Okay.
When I first started, because there was so much going on, we're talking about 2-3 times a day.
That's great.
The first one that I did, it was 42 minutes, and I didn't even really realize it. I started it, and I ended up just having this conversation where I'm talking back and forth with myself. And around the 35-minute mark, I'm just who the fuck are you talking to?
Yeah, you had this realization.
I was having that type of conversation with myself that was just wait, who are you talking to? You're really just I would have thoughts and be yeah, but you're doing this, but what if you did this? And what if you saw this differently? Just back and forth with myself. So that was huge. And I would say meditation for me is more grounding.
Mm-hmm.
If anything feels weird, crazy, anxiety, stress, being able to identify your emotions, I would definitely say to meditate, just so you can rationalize, because things will hit me and it's you can feel something and not be able to identify it. But with meditation, it kind of teaches you to observe your emotions and not be controlled by them. Mm-hmm. And so within doing that, you're able to identify them. So for instance, within my meditations that I've done, I know where like stress for me shows up behind my jaw. My jaw gets tight. Anxiety shows up in my throat. Fear shows up in my chest. Like I can feel tension in those certain spots.
Could you always feel those, or is this new from being able to pay attention to it?
I think I've felt them, but never took the time to identify them.
Yeah, recognize it.
Yeah, it's just like, I know it was always there, but I would never paid attention to it. And now that I know, I'm just like, damn, what are you stressing about right now? Then I really got to like sit with myself or take 10 minutes to meditate and see, because sometimes I get triggered by something and not really realize what it was, just going through my day to day. And something hits me and I'm just like, oh, your jaw is tight. Like, what's going on? You know, it's not for no reason. So
what have you learned about yourself? You're like learning a whole new side to you. Is there anything you've learned about yourself that's changed, you know, the last few months?
Everything.
Everything's changed.
Yeah, everything.
Wow.
I feel like a completely different person.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like a completely different person. Not to give like a vague answer, but I'm definitely not the person that I was 8 months ago. You know,
wow.
Completely different person. So
has it been ugly? Has it been hard to do this, to do the work?
Yeah, I wouldn't say necessarily hard to do the work. Sometimes I'll tell myself like, you haven't been through like that much of like that many hard things, because it's like I know people that have like been through some shit,
right?
And it's like when we're telling stories, but I think it's all relative.
Yeah.
But you know, I think the process of what I was going through was harder than me actually doing the work, like sitting with like the space that it had took me to. And thinking that I was stuck being the way that I felt currently.
Right.
And it was like, when is this going to pass? You know, and it's like sitting with these feelings, waking up, tears like 6 days in a row.
Right.
And it's like, when is this going to let up? And it wasn't letting up. And it's just like, shit, like, is this, like, this is you? Mm-hmm. This is who you are? Like, you're going to wake up, you don't feel like doing shit today. You're just going to chill. Like, and within all of it, you know, that kind of led me to a space of being like, you got to chill out. Mm-hmm. Just like, you got to sit down and just like let things be. Like let your nervous system relax, because you've lived an entire life of high stress, always on the go, trying to like high ambition, like you're going to do whatever by any means necessary. Like your body doesn't know otherwise. And so now I'm kind of just in a place of stillness and I'm just attraction, just let things come to me, you know, identify the opportunities when they present themselves, instead of going out of my way to create them, or just doing things that might not sit so well with me, but I'm going to do it anyways because I want the money.
Right.
It's like there's other things more important than, you know,
figuring out how to be true to yourself and what your like soul needs.
Exactly.
So how did that affect your work during that time frame where you were like, you know, obviously you know one speed, right? You already know how to work regardless of what you feel. But if you're trying to give space to the soul and like emotional part of you and be true to that and work, did that affect work at all?
Slowed it down for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've missed out on plenty of opportunities just kind of being avoidant, like not responding back to people and kind of just, you know, responding on my time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I had to kind of like, again, take my situation into consideration. I mean, I don't necessarily need the work right now. You know, like I have decent amount of money like set aside. So it wasn't a matter of like, oh, I have to book this right now because I need the money. And I was like, if that's the case, like if you're not comfortable with doing it, then don't fucking do it.
Right.
Like, if you don't want to do it, then just don't, you know?
Do you think that old Tay would have thought that way?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. The old me had one speed. I was on gear 10 the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's just get things done. You know, get things done. But it's like, at what cost, you know?
At what cost?
So
those people who are listening and like really, this message really resonates with you and they're experiencing, you know, burnout or relationship ending, or there are these like really pivotal moments in their life where they find themselves being like, who am I? You know, like, where am I at in my life? What advice would you give them?
Be still.
Okay.
That's the only, I feel
you need
like
that
that's
tatted on you somewhere. That's beautiful.
Just be still, because if you're moving around, if you're doing a lot, And hopefully y'all know I don't mean that like in like a literal sense of like be still,
Right.
but just don't try to do too much. Your output, like dumb it down, because you're taxing yourself, you're putting too much on yourself to where you're distracted and you're not going to allow yourself the time to actually weed out like who you are or what you truly want to do, because you're thinking about everybody else. You're thinking about, what do I have to do next? Who do I have to do for next? Like everything is about everybody else and not yourself.
Right.
So, be still, allow, if you can, like to the best of your ability, I'll say that, because not everybody's in the position where they can just
slow down for a minute,
stop working and just be where they're at.
But it was intentional. You're intentionally
100%,
saying no, for
100%.
something. You're leaving money on the table and being like, no, I'm choosing myself right now.
I literally just started picking bookings up back this month.
Wow.
So we're talking about from January to April, I was purposefully just
being still.
Wake up, go to the gym, come home, journal, meditate, make breakfast, play my guitar, go upstairs. I might record one of my videos, because all those other videos, they come in the moment. It's not structured content. I don't have a content plan. It's like if some inspiration hits me, I record the video.
Well, they're
I go
authentic.
upstairs. Exactly. I edit it, drop it same day. I'm not worried about posting schedule. Drop it at 4 p.m. one day. I drop it at 8 a.m. the next day. Like whatever. I don't care. I might come back downstairs, make something to eat, play my guitar again, go play video games. Like I'm literally practicing the art of being bored.
Tay, that takes discipline.
In a different way.
In a different way. I know, like, I also have a similar brain as you, and like one speed, like I know how to get shit done.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's the easy part. What you're doing, in my opinion, is the hard thing.
It is.
Like
because
teaching
then
yourself.
you start shaming yourself. With the type of person I am, I'm going to shame myself for not being productive.
Not being a hustler.
Oh, you could be doing this. You could be reaching out to so-and-so. You could be trying to, and it's like, no, you know what I'm saying? No, you don't need to do that. You want to do that.
Right.
Like, that's not what you need right now. So it's just a different type of discipline.
I mean, the person you are now is going to need, your next relationship is going to be with someone totally different.
Absolutely.
Right? As you change, you look for something different in other people.
Absolutely. Got to match your frequency.
Yeah. You're a single father.
Yes.
Cutest little boy.
Thank you.
Yeah. What are you hoping to like teach him and ignite in him?
My main thing for him right now is to be very aware of his emotions.
Okay.
That's probably.
Were you taught that as a child?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
So you're learning and then you're teaching. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just to change the trajectory of the generations.
Right.
My mom didn't have it. I made it to about 30 before, the fallout from that hit me. My brother too, he's 4 years older than me. We're basically one and the same person when it comes to all of that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, if I made it 30 years and nobody taught me anything, like if I start teaching him now, he'll be in a way better position than I was, and he'll be able to navigate, whatever he wants to do, be in a better headspace from the jump.
And you're showing him that, like in your daily choosing yourself and choosing to explain what you're learning, you're showing him how to be in touch with it.
I tell him every time he cries, it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
Just understand why. Are you mad? It's okay to be upset, but just understand why. Why are you mad? And try to just dig just a little bit deeper. Mind you, he's only 5. So
right.
He's not going to be able to articulate so much, but it's just
getting him in the habit. Yeah, of like checking in with himself.
Yep. And he'll tell me, like, I was tying his shoes the other day. He said, "Dad, I feel calm right now." And I was like, bet.
Yeah,
like,
truly.
Like, that's cool that you can identify that.
Yes.
And that wasn't even anything I taught him, so I don't even know where it came from, but I'll take it.
I got to share a story with you. So I have a similar background. Like when I started therapy, it was like I knew like 5 emotions. My therapist would be like, "Tell me how you're feeling." And I'm like, "Mad?"
Right.
And he's like, "No. What are you feeling inside?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So he gave me these like cards, right? And they have the emotions on them. So he pulls them out. I feel like a child. So I looked for a kid's version because I felt the same way. Like, I didn't learn this. Maybe I can teach my kids. Mm-hmm. And there's this like flip chart that has the emotion with a picture. And then you flip it over and it says what you can do. So like when you're feeling mad, you flip it over and it says what you can do. So my 8-year-old he was frustrated, right?
He wanted to show him where he was.
So he was very frustrated, right, with the situation. They were, needed to get in bed and they were dilly-dallying, right? And so she pulls out this flip chart and she goes, Dad, are you feeling frustrated? Points to the picture and goes, let me tell you what you can do. You can count to 10. You can sing a song, right? She goes through this list. And so he's telling me that. And he's like, that little, girl. And I'm like, good for her.
That's hilarious.
Right? To be able to like give your kid
right.
this idea of like what a calm feeling feels like.
Right.
You can't pay money for that.
Not at all.
The knowledge.
Not a single cent.
And it wouldn't have come unless you went through this phase of like, who am I without my work?
For sure.
Who am I as a person? Am I of worth? Me, myself, like who is that?
Right.
Okay, so success, right? Everyone has a different level of success or a different idea of what that means. What does success mean to you now? And what did it mean to you, old Tay? I know.
That's such a tough. I think it's something that I'm still currently defining.
Okay.
But I could tell you that it has nothing to do with a monetary value.
Money, does that have anything to do with
And it's
money?
funny because I actually ask people those same questions. I'll hold lives, and in my lives, it's always like vulnerable conversations. And I ask people, like, what's your definition of success? And everybody is just like, yeah, if I had like 10 million, 100 million, it's always money. Yeah, it's always money. And I'm just like, nah, it's not. Like I could tell you, I don't have millions, but I can tell you with the amount of money that I wanted to make, once I made it, I just wanted to make more.
Right.
And more and more. Every year was like, yeah, let me just make a little bit. And it wasn't, that's not success. Like it's got to live somewhere along the lines of being, I don't know if I want to say content, just happy with where you're at. And I think everybody's values vary, but happy with your family, happy with where you're at with yourself. What you're doing, how comfortable you are. Obviously, you want to be like financially stable.
Right.
But I always follow that with like how much, like when is enough enough? How many homes, how many cars, how many, how many more things do you need until you feel like you've made enough money?
Right.
So it's like for me, if my family's healthy, I'm healthy, and I can travel, and I don't have to think too hard about swiping my card. That's successful to me.
I mean, even just, I agree. Like that's a beautiful like way to put it. And also just being able to sit with yourself.
Right.
The level of success that is.
Yeah.
In like your dark times and your good times, just being able to sit with yourself.
For sure.
It's insane. Okay. I ask everybody this question, but what is one thing, as we wrap up, what is one thing that you've had to unlearn to be successful?
You can't control everything.
I
don't think you can. Sometimes you got to let go of the reins because life is going to take you in the direction that you need to go, not in the direction you want to go.
I love that. So. It's beautiful. Tay, you're amazing. You've been incredible on the show, and I think everyone will get such value from your just authenticity and being raw. I want to let people know where they can find you, where if they want to get in touch with you, they want to see your videos, they want to work with you, where can they get in touch with you?
Socials are Tay Price. That's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube's Tay Price Photography. The clothing brand is Sin Deposit. That's on Instagram. Same thing for the website.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. You're incredible. Anybody who's out there looking for work to be like Tay, right? To be in a space where they're a incredible videographer, photographer, and then just live in their truth, they can reach out to you on any of those platforms. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today on How We Do. Your executive producer and host is Meg Carlisle. Your co-creator and producer is Ryan Carlisle. And today's episode was filmed, edited, and directed by Braden Ball. You know how we do.